Hello, everyone, and happy New Year to all of you. I wish you nothing but peace, health, joy unspeakable, open doors, prosperity, and success in 2025. My name is Lerato Valentine Adeyemi, and you can follow me on social media platforms on TikTok, Lerato V, and on Facebook and Instagram, Lerato V Adeyemi. Welcome to episode 4 of marriage, relationships, homes, everything around that area. So, last episode we spoke about advantages and disadvantages of marrying right and marrying the right way. So, this episode, I want us to talk about the things you shouldn't ignore when you want to continue into your marital journey, or even if you are in that journey already. Please do not ignore the following things that I am going to discuss with you. I'm going to give you 5 things that you shouldn't ignore, that you should put into consideration. But, however, do not allow these things to be your stumbling block, to be your mountains. These things can be overcome. So, stay tuned. So, number one thing that you shouldn't ignore when it comes to the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with is their personal attributes, including their physical appearance. So, what do I mean about that? Get to know their likes, their dislikes, get to know their strengths and their weaknesses. For example, if it's a tempered person, short tempered person, if it's somebody who gets angry easily, if somebody who's struggling with trust, those are the things that you should never ignore. And by physical appearance, in the previous video, I spoke about, you know, um, marrying a big woman, how it can be disadvantageous. So if you're a man and you're going to marry someone who's big, you have to put that into consideration. I'm not saying they do not deserve to be married. They do make good wives because most of them tend to have a good heart. So they are beautiful inside and outside. Even with the men, you can't marry a short man and then later into the marriage, down 5 years down the line in the marriage, you start complaining about their height. Or you can't marry a tall man and then 6 years down the line, you start complaining about them. You will see all these things when you are doing courtship. In the world, they call it mjolo. When you are still dating, when you are still doing courtship, those things, note them, note those things, um, their things, their weaknesses, their strengths, their threats, their allergies as well. Allergies. Note also their height, their hygiene, how hygiene they are, what they like to do, what they do not like, what they are open to learn, and what they would never try to learn. Then, number two, check their spirituality. On the first episode, I spoke about the importance of praying before you enter into marriage. You cannot marry someone who is not prayerful as a Christian. When battles come, who are you going to pray with? That person is likely to be used by the enemy to destroy the home. So check their spirituality, check their biblical knowledge, check also their gifts. There are some people that are gifted spiritually, like they are prophets, they see a lot of things. So that also adds into the character they carry out. So you should know that, for example, if you are the person you are into, for example, is an evangelist, they'll always be out. They'll always be out. They'll always be willing to evangelize to people, and they are radical. Sometimes within your relationship, you'll have that thing of them trying to be radical. Not that you are the enemy, but it's a character that has been built based on their spirituality. Check the level of honor they give to their pastors, not worship, the level of honor they give to their pastors. If they cannot fear their pastors or their parents, because the Bible says as well that we should honor our mother and our father so that we may live long on the earth. So if you have somebody that disrespects and is proud of disrespecting their pastors or is proud of disrespecting their parents, you might be a widow or widower quickly because long life will be cut off from them. If you say you want to spend your life with somebody, get to know their vision, their goals, their targets. What do they want? What do they see themselves doing, or who do they see themselves becoming in the near future? Remember, the Bible says two are better than one. It also says that if two people cannot work together except they agree, so your vision and their vision must not be in contradiction, because the future of that marriage, it is, let me not say something bad, but it will take a lot of hard work, or want to forsake their vision, their goals, just to stay in marriage and build a godly home. So you must marry a man or a woman that has a vision, not a man that, or a woman that is just living and they don't know where they go to. For example, if you are a woman and the husband becomes the head of the house, is the one that leads the family. So if you choose a man who doesn't have a vision, who's just going with the flow, whatever comes it takes, whether it's good or bad, he has no direction, it means your home will be directionless. And should you, as the wife then in that family, want to lead, there'll be contradiction. You'll find yourself fighting with your husband that you're supposed to be submitting to. Number 4, finances. Chelete. Yes, disclose your financial status. Disclose your financial status to your partner should you want to continue into the marital journey. Why? Because what is yours, it's theirs, and what is theirs, it's yours automatically. Get to know their financial goals as well. You can find somebody who is financially strong but cannot maintain the income or the assets, cannot maximize or take advantage of that financial strength they have. Maybe you, as the partner, may come in with ideas that, you know what, with you are making a lot of money, instead of buying assets or opening other small business that can bring money on a daily basis, you're just spending it on going out, spending it on buying clothes, luxurious things that you do not need. Because remember, once you get married, children are going to come in. They're going to need things. So you cannot be with a spouse that is financially reckless. It's a no, 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 no. No, 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 no. And again, remembering that we are building godly homes. The person must be a tither, is a must in the Christian home. You must believe in tithe. The home must tithe. You cannot marry someone who is against tithing, because when you become one, his finances are yours and your finances are theirs. So when the devourer wants to come and devour, he will not only devour their finances, even yours. He has the right to devour your finances. So you must marry someone who is spiritually responsible with finances, in terms of tithing, of seed sowing, of first fruit, of offerings, giving to the poor, giving to their pastor, giving to their family, giving to the widows, the orphans. So it is very important to get that. Do not waver it. It doesn't mean that if you meet a man who is not financially strong, will not be financially strong in the future. No. That is why on point number 3, I said the vision. Yes. He might not have money now, but when you come to the finances, you might be the one, the woman with the money now, and then later he will grow financially. You wouldn't have to do anything in the house. Also disclose to each other how you would want to manage the finances going forward. There are some people, they believe that the wife must, when if the wife is working or doing a business, all the incomes, they must bring them to the husband. There are others, they believe that my wife should not contribute anything. I want to take care of every bills in the house, every needs in the house is on me. My wife can throw the money, can waste it, can give it to people, can do whatever she likes with it, and I will not question them. There are some people that want to go 50-50 with their spouse. There should be an agreement before you enter into marriage. It is very important, because finances tend to be one of the tools that breaks homes. Others, they go into debt without their spouses knowing, and they are unable to pay the debt. So their spouses are the one who will be liable to pay those debts. So it is important to disclose your financial status, your financial strengths and weaknesses, and how to overcome them when you enter into marriage. Now, number 5, very important, generational blessings or curses. Check the foundation. Dig, ask questions about your partner's family, their weaknesses, their strength. Try to discover what the enemy might use against your home in the future. Don't wait for the enemy to attack. Deal with it first before you enter into marriage. What has happened to your grandparents is likely to happen to your parents. And what happens to your or happened to your parents is likely to happen to you and your children. So don't let it get to you. Be the one to break the generational curse and start the generational blessings. It amazes me when I hear Christians saying generational curses are not real, but yet they claim the blessings of Abraham. The blessings of Abraham are generational. If you read the Bible well, in Galatians 3:13 and 14, 13 says, Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse, of being made a curse. Verse 14, it says that curse, so that the blessing of Abraham might come upon the Gentiles. You see, you cannot claim the blessings of Abraham. Where's Abraham? Many, many, many thousands of years ago, he was alive, yet we are brought into them, his blessings. Those are generational blessings. So foundational issues tend to break homes, tend to put a strain or start a storm, a raging storm against homes. Do not ignore it. If you are from a family whereby there's divorce, please check the behavior of those that divorced before they start to jump on you. Pray against them. Change your thinking. Don't think like them. Don't talk like them. Don't behave like them. Behave differently, because it is a pattern. Who did you come from? Who gave birth to you? Is your parents. If there's some certain habits that you inherit by biology, by just genes, based on genes, you are stubborn. If you check, your father is stubborn, your grandfather is stubborn, your great grandfather was very stubborn. So check those things and deal with them. And you disclose to your partner so that when they see you manifesting something that is not of Christ, they know that they don't have to attack you. They will understand that, no, this is a spiritual battle. Let me keep quiet and go and fight in prayer. There you have it, episode 4. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe. You are watching me and you are not subscribing. It's free. Yes, it's free. It's not wondering. It is free. I would really appreciate your support. Subscribe to the channel so that when I upload a new episode, you can get a notification. I'd really appreciate that. Remember, I'm still going far. I will touch marriage. I will even touch sensitive things that you think that I will not touch. I've done a lot of research on this. I've read books. I was running away from it, but I am here now. Let me disclose because I don't know who it might help. Stay blessed.